From in the beginning to the musical apocalypse, this is The Bible Says What. I'm your host, Mike Wiseman. For the patrons who get this episode on Turkey Day, happy Thanksgiving, and thank you for all your support and encouragement. For everyone else, I hope your Turkey Day was full of good food and family. You too can get your BSW fix early and help keep the recording light on by supporting the blasphemy. Simply go to patreon.com/bswthepodcast and sign up to be a supporter of the show. Your episodic tithes of $1 or more will go to the many expenses related to the show and get you early access to each episode and so much more. That's patreon.com/bswthepodcast. That being said, in a galaxy everywhere, an invisible, intangible, superpowered entity created all life as we know it. Or was it a race of eternal superpowered cats who created the universe in such a chaotic and destructive manner because they're cats and they got to pick how things go? Or was it Kali Ma who created everything? Or was it the death of some unknown creature that brought forth life and the material world as we know it? To assume you have the answer without proof, without evidence, or a good reason is not rational. Although I'm leaning more toward the eternal self-aware cats, I can't say for sure, and therefore would not rely on that idea as any sort of truth, especially since I'm not any sort of scientist. Let's start the show.
Is there anything in the Bible that you yourself have an issue with? Okay, so it took you reading the Bible to realize that those things were bad for you?
Yeah, it actually did. I didn't
figure this out on your own?
No, Ted Bundy could be redeemed. God doesn't kill children.
What do you think the Passover was? Yahweh sets up a whole system in the Old Testament where you slaughter animals just so he's able to forgive you.
Today's special guest is singer-songwriter Dallas Duff, part 2. Thanks for coming on, Dallas. Thanks for coming back, actually.
Yeah, man, I think it was a good discussion last time, so figure we'd do a part 2, and, here we are.
Yeah, absolutely. See where we stand, see how it goes. I love it, man. Thanks for coming back. Appreciate that. It's always nice. Not everybody makes it back for a part 2. So I kind of want to rehash where we were, just kind of for just been a minute. Start off with, what is the Bible to you? Obviously, with the Bible show, let's talk about that. What is the Bible to you?
Did we not go over this last time?
Yeah, just briefly cover over. What is it to you? Like, it's just like one sentence. What is the Bible? God inspired, source of morality, whatever you want to throw in there.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think that it is God inspired. Do I think it's like? Do I think every word is like literal? Like God, like literally, like wrote every word of it?
Yeah.
No, that's not. That's not my understanding or perception of it, or what I believe about it. Do I believe that? Well, I don't. Where do you want to go from here? Like,
well, you said God didn't write it. The Bible tells us that the Holy Spirit was possessing people and having them write it. So, is that something you follow?
Well, what verses are you referring to exactly?
Oh, man, let's see if I can pull that off of here. Those are some great verses here. I love the Bible study part of this. The Bible. There we go. 2 Peter 1, verse 20. But know first of all that no prophecy of Scripture becomes a matter of someone's own interpretation, for no prophecy has ever been made but an act of human will, but men moved by the Holy Spirit spoke from God. So that tells me that the Holy Spirit infested people, possessed people, and then they wrote the Bible, prophecies and scriptures. That's what I get out of that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would have a fairly loose interpretation of that.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. So how would you? How does that happen? How does the Bible get written? How does the Holy Spirit or God influence people?
How?
How did they do it? How do you think it happened? You said God inspired it, or God inspired the Bible. So how do you think it happened? Was it telepathic? Was it the Holy Ghost possessing people? How did he get his message to people?
I don't know. I mean, that's not really my.
But you think it
not
happened?
Only not my area. Maybe.
Maybe. Okay. Well, you said it did. That was your description of the Bible, so I'm just going to go off of that. Scratch that. We'll come back to the Bible. Describe your God. Can we do that one? Let's do that. Describe your God.
Well, what is God?
No, your God, the God you believe in.
Well, if there's, we can go back to this a little bit, but again, there's either a God or gods that's everyone's. If we're talking about just to narrow it a little bit, if we're talking about any type of creator God, then I reject the framing of my God or your God. There's either a God or no God.
Great.
Or
the God that you believe in. The God that you believe in. Can you describe it? It. Don't worry about the word or anything like that. Just the God you believe in.
Yeah.
Can you describe it? It.
Yeah, I mean, the concept of God is, even though it's pretty universally understood, I guess a lot of people don't always necessarily articulate specifically what they mean. So, I mean, I guess we're talking about an entity that exists outside of the material world that exists, that was the creator of the material world.
Hold on. So is it a physical being? You said it's an entity. Is this entity physical? It's outside of the realm of.
I mean, I guess it would depend on what you mean by physical. Like,
can you touch? Can you touch this being? Physical being. Like, can you see it? Can you touch it? Is it there? Is it physical?
I mean, I guess in some sense, it's certainly possible. But
okay, so we don't know if it's physical. Not sure if it's physical.
Of course, we don't know. Like, let's start there. Like, nobody knows. Like, I mean, we're all just kind of like speculating and pontificating.
So go ahead. He's an entity. We don't know. We're not sure if he's physical. We're not. We can touch him, smell him.
Well,
lick him.
Spiritual would be the kind of universally accepted idea that when people talk about God, that's what they. So I mean, by like spiritual, I guess. I mean, not really. I mean,
Dallas, what do you believe, man? Holy cow. Describe your God. Okay, so you don't know, he might be spiritual. You don't know if he's physical, but he's an entity of some sort.
Well, no. Well, it'd be a God would be a spiritual entity by basic definition of the concept, certainly.
Well, I mean, we could call an alien race that's far superior God. I mean, it just depends on your definition of what the God you believe in is, and that's what we're trying to get the root of here: is what the God of the that you believe in. Can you describe him?
Yeah, it's a spiritual entity. That's there's the creator of all physical things that exist. So the creator of the universe, and would obviously be the arbiter of morality as well. If you created everything, then morality would be included in that. Assuming you even accept the idea that there's first you'd have to accept the idea there's such a thing as God, and then there's obviously you'd have to accept the idea that there's such a thing as objective morality. Which if there is a God, then there would be objective morality, and if there isn't a God, there isn't objective morality. Like the way I don't. Okay, just to kind of like interject here with like kind of your questioning here, like. Again, as we kind of discussed in the first portion of this discussion in part one, I'm not a biblical literalist, but also I'm not that interested in like kind of pounding down on like, oh, these are the absolute things that that God must be or has to be, or that things that we know for certain. Like, I mean, like I said, I can pontificate on it, but I'm more interested in the more practical and moral and also rational elements of these types of things. So it's like I like to think more in the sense of okay, like if God exists, if God doesn't exist. I'm more interested in framing like, you know, the if this then that, or what are the practical cause and effect of the existence of, you know, Christianity or the biblical the things that, you know, the Bible has produced. You know, like I said in the other one, I primarily like to judge things by the fruits that they produce. I'm not personally that interested in like hammering down on, you know, whether or not Adam and Eve were like a real, you know, couple, or whether or not, like, you know, Noah's Ark was a real thing. I'm more in the realm of like, I don't find those whether or not those things existed or whether or not those things happened, we certainly can't know that they. So I'm not interested in being like, oh well, you know, obviously, let's go down the rabbit hole on Noah's Ark. It's like, I don't find it useful. I don't find it practically useful.
Well, I thank you for that. So what I want to know is just the description of your creator. That's not me wanting you to nail down specifically what it is. I want to nail down specifically what it is that you believe. And that's what I'm wanting, is a description of what you believe. And if you don't know, throw in an I don't know. Like, if he's not physical, that's great. I love the I don't knows, man. And I'm not a big biblical scholar either, but it's fine. And it's fine. And I know you don't take the whole Bible as a serious, or not serious, sorry, as a truthful thing. I think there's a lot of things that are not truthful. We established that last time.
Not necessarily. Like I would.
Well, 100%. Like most of the Old Testament, you don't believe is true. Like all the stuff that God did in there, you don't think happened. So there's a lot in there. You don't even know if the crucifixion happened. You said that last time.
Nobody knows if any of it happened.
Right. Like, so why believe it? And why believe it?
Why believe it? Like, well, first of all, like just from a practical perspective, from a practical perspective of the I believe it's the greatest document of wisdom that pretty much has ever existed, certainly in its
that's quite a claim.
Yeah, so there's that. There's obviously
I'm going to tell you right now that the Giving Tree is a better book of morals than the Bible. The Giving Tree doesn't tell me that somebody needs a blood sacrifice. It doesn't tell me that women deserve to be burned for being prostitutes. It doesn't tell me that I need to sacrifice doves because, you know, she had her monthly cycle. Like, are you kidding me? It doesn't tell me that homosexuality is a bad thing, that they deserve to be stoned to death. So when you're looking for a book of morals, why would you choose one that holds such horrible things inside of it?
Well, okay, first of all, like you and most atheists tend to completely negate and not generally not want to talk about. And we all have, you know, obviously there's certain ways you're going to want to lead this conversation. There's certain ways that I'm going to want to lead this conversation. But like, I'll try and kind of answer some of your stuff. But you know, I probably
let's get to it. Get to it. Just say
in a different direction than you went to. Like, just practically speaking, what the biblical world and the world of Christianity and all that kind of the ideologies that the primary ideologies that the Bible has produced, the proof is in the pudding in terms of what it has produced, in terms of the people that it's produced as a general rule, that the societies that it's produced.
You're joking, right? Have you listened to the scandals in the churches? You got the Catholic Church, the Baptist Church. You got scandals everywhere. They worship this book and the God in there.
There's scandals.
You tell me they get their morals? Sorry, go ahead.
There's scandals in all societies across time. Like there's the problem.
So the book isn't making anything better, then, is what you're telling me. It's not really helping out.
the problem is you're not actually comparing what the Bible and the biblical world has produced versus everything else up against it. Like that.
You do know that most wars, 90 whatever percent, are over religious beliefs.
Where are you getting that information?
We can look it up, but most wars are fought over religious beliefs.
We can look it up where?
Internet. Is it internet? Probably most
wars are fought over
religious beliefs.
Everything on the internet's true. But
well, shit, where are we supposed to look it up? The Encyclopedia Britannica? But that's a weird claim. We'll look that up later. Yes, I know. Go ahead. So what? It's a good book. It's a good book. It produces moralistic people, is what you're saying. Does the book produce moralistic people that believe in it and read it?
Compared to pretty much anything else, for the most part.
Compared to the Giving Tree.
Why are you comparing it? Nobody actually believes in the Giving Tree as a source of anything, really.
It's a great source of morals. Have you read it?
I'm not saying it isn't.
Okay, so it is. It's a better source of morals than the Bible because it doesn't tell you to stone anybody to death. It doesn't talk about burning people to death.
I'm saying it hasn't had any serious influence on any large number of people.
How do you know that? Did you do the study? Is there a study somewhere?
You need a study to know that there isn't large numbers of people that are
influenced by a moralistic book. Yeah, you're telling me they're influenced by the Bible. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying yeah. There are certainly many people? Millions and billions more people that have been influenced by the Bible and the Giving Tree.
How do you know this? You just same with my claim about the war thing. We can't just throw out claims like this. We need to like look this up. We need to do studies about it. We need to actually have research into it. We can't be just throwing claims like this.
You seriously need research to know that there's more people who have been morally influenced by the Bible than
because I see the opposite, Dallas. I see a bunch of fucking monsters that come from reading this book. Child molesters, murderers.
What percentage
slave owners?
Okay.
That's what I see coming from this book.
Now you're making a claim. So what percentage of child molesters and murderers that are, let's narrow it specifically as we can.
Let's weigh it out, Dallas. You give me the good ones, I'll give you the bad percentage. Let's weigh it out.
I don't think you have an answer to this question, but I'll ask it anyways.
You don't have an answer to that one either. We can't answer that question because nobody knows, Dallas. Just throwing shit out. It's what we're doing at this point. So if you think that people get their morals from here and this makes people makes people better, wouldn't it kind of like go to say that pastors and megachurch and all these other people that go off of this Bible would be better people? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not. You seem to be implying that every person that reads the Bible is.
What's the percentage then, Dallas? We're just throwing shit out. What's the percentage?
Percentage of what? What's the question?
The good people versus bad people that read the Bible.
Well, now you're creating a false dichotomy. I'm not creating any dichotomy of good people versus bad people.
That's what you're doing. You're telling me good people because they read the Bible. There's morals from this. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. I mean, certainly there's morals that people get.
Right. Stone those disobedient children. Burn that prostitute. Great morals, man. Feature slaves.
If you actually objectively look at this stuff from like a societal perspective, then yes, like there's no comparison to what the societies that have adopted as the bedrock the Bible in some way, shape, or form. Well, what those societies have produced versus societies who have adopted other primary, whether it be theistic bedrocks or not. Like,
so can we follow the laws of the Bible and still have a practical perspective and be moralistic? Can we follow the rules of the Bible, all the laws in there?
Well, first off, there's a whole bunch of laws that only applied to they're only meant to apply to.
These are perfect, holy, righteous, and good laws.
The Jewish people at that particular
Dallas,
time.
were these God's laws? Were these God's laws?
Were they God's laws?
Were they God's laws?
I'm gonna stick with the I don't know.
Thank you, Dallas. I appreciate that. Honestly, I do. From what I see, though, in the Bible, is these are God's laws. There are several spots in there where he even says that it's holy, righteous, and perfect. These are perfect laws. That's what it says. Do you believe that?
I don't find it particularly relevant, but I mean, in some sense,
because we're trying to get to the fact that if it's come on, Dallas, follow me here.
What
is it practical to follow the laws of God? Is it practical to follow the laws of God?
Are you talking about all of like the
That's
Old
what I'm trying to
Testament
get
laws?
to, Dallas. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Well, you don't understand that you don't have a good theological understanding, and I'm not claiming to be the
You're
end all
claiming
be
I
all.
don't, but you're claiming you don't either. So how do you know I don't?
Well, there are things that I do know.
Okay, then
pretty
do you
pretty
know
well.
this?
Then things that I don't know pretty well.
For all of us, Dallas, for all of us, for sure. So you don't know the laws. You don't want to. Okay. Okay. That's
well. No,
I'm just thinking of a practical perspective here, Dallas. And what I'm seeing practically, the practical part in this Bible is don't, love your neighbor. That's pretty awesome. I can get behind that. But you know where I can find that? In other sources that don't tell me to kill gay people. So why would you get your source of morals from a book that says all those horrible things when there's better material out there that doesn't tell you to kill people? Why, Dallas? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Are you aware that it's been the Judeo-Christian world that has actually produced like the freest and most rights, given the most amount of rights to people.
Was the Bible used to promote slavery?
People who believe
Bible used to promote slavery?
Yes, and it was also used as a rationality by the abolitionists.
So why would you
going back to the the judging things by their fruit? That's gonna be the hammer that I'm gonna keep beating down on. It was primarily the Christian world that first abolished slavery, while literally everybody at the time
using the Bible to promote it. Weird how that happens. They can use the book to either promote or abolish. So can you point to a part in the Bible where it says don't own people?
Yes. Yeah. So going back to, I wanted to hit on this. Yeah. I wanted to hit on this since, so last time we hit on this a little bit, and you were adamant about like, there's nothing that says like, to not do that. So there's, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it. It's
good job.
Exodus 21:16. Whoever kidnaps a man, whether he sells him or is found with him in his possession, shall surely be put to death. Sorry. So yes,
it's kidnapping people. That's not slavery.
So, kidnaps a man, whether he sells him or is found with him.
Okay, so if he kidnaps somebody, then sells that person into slavery, don't do it. But if he gets his slaves from the neighboring nations around them, you forgetting that part, Leviticus 25:44, and then Exodus 21:7, which is just above what you just read. If a man sells his daughter as a servant, she is not to go free as manservants do. Holy shit. That kind of counteracts everything you just said. If a man sells his daughter, that's telling you how to sell your daughter. Your book of morals is telling people how to sell their children into slavery.
Yeah.
That's some good morals right there, man.
Well, first off, like most of the, this is another problem with like kind of like language and communication, but like there were two types of slavery that were existed during the time, and like there isn't actually two separate words that distinguish it in the actual writings or in the translations, because there's obviously the what we call chattel slavery, which is actually
Dallas. Dallas, I don't care. Do you think owning people is good?
Wait,
I don't care if there's two different kinds of slavery. I'm sorry, Dallas. I'm sorry.
Do
you think owning people is bad?
You don't care about the nuances
I don't give a shit if there's two different kinds of slavery. I don't care. I want to know, do you think it's okay to own people?
Well, no, and the one kind isn't owning.
So it's not okay to own, then that's not slavery. That's not what that means. What is slavery to you?
I'm trying to tell you that there are two different, what was described.
I'm telling you, I don't care if there's two different kinds of slavery, man. I'm telling you.
But I'm telling you what you're misunderstanding that.
First Peter 2:18. Slaves, submit to your masters with all respect, not only to those who are good and considerate, but also to those who are harsh. For it is commendable if a man bears up under the pain of unjust suffering, because he is conscious of Yahweh. So, where is it telling me that's bad to own people? Where is it telling me it's bad to own people? You told me it's bad to kidnap people and sell them into slavery. That's what you told me. It's not bad to own people. Where does it say it's bad to own people, Dallas?
Where does it say it's bad to own people specifically? Like
100%. Where does this moralistic book tell us not to own slaves?
Well, if you can't kidnap somebody, slavery is a form of kidnapping.
Holy shit, Dallas.
Do you not know that? Do you not know that slavery is a form of kidnapping?
Dallas, you know how many different spots in the Bible it tells you it's okay to murder somebody's entire family and take their daughter or take their kids?
Well, I thought we were talking about slavery. Like
exactly. Is that kidnapping, Dallas? Is that kidnapping?
Chet, use your logic.
Is that kidnapping, Dallas?
Slavery is kidnapping.
Okay, so
and I literally just told you where it says you cannot kidnap a person. Like chattel slavery is a form of kidnapping.
That's so cool. That's so cool. So where in the Bible does it say not to own slaves?
Again, this is where this.
Where's the word that says don't own slaves? Because I hear it saying don't kidnap people and sell them into slavery. Where does it say don't own slaves?
You don't appear to be engaging in this conversation with the intent of understanding that there's this clear difference. There are two different types of slavery that are talked about in the Bible. One where it's kidnapping and owning people, and the other one which is more like
that's not what I'm asking, Dallas. That's why I don't care. That's not what I'm asking, Dallas, and that's why I don't care.
Well, you don't. You're going to totally not understand any of what I'm saying if you don't care about the actual differences and the actual all the. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought.
I just wish your book said something about not owning people as property. That would be great instead of
my book.
Lots of different spots here where it says how to treat those people that you have in your property.
What do you mean it's my book? It's not my book.
Oh, God, you just said it's a good source of morals. Is it not?
I'm saying.
Did you say it's a good source of morals?
I'm saying that it is.
Yes, it's your book.
No,
moving on.
Don't straw man what I'm saying. I am saying that it absolutely has been a primary source of morals for a large percentage of the world, and that part of the world has produced the Western societies. It has produced all of
a bunch of hateful Christians. Is what it's produced. That's what it's produced.
Do you not have any perception of the rest of the world?
Do you live in the United States?
Of course.
Are you aware of Christian nationalism? Do you think these people are friendly and awesome and nice?
Define Christian nationalism. What do you mean by that?
Oh, these one president people. What are they? Fascists. These fascists that are going around trying to take over the elections. All that stuff.
And what is fascism?
Are you not aware of the Christian nationalism that's going on?
I'm asking you to define your terms. What is fascism? What is your understanding of fascism?
Let's go to the what are they called? The what's that Baptist church?
Well, the Westboro Baptist Church.
Westboro, thank you. Let's go to that one. Do you think it's helping them? Do you think it's helping them with being better people? The Bible?
No, I don't think those are good. Those are good people, and I think most the Westboro Baptist Church is like a dozen people or so. Like I don't know, maybe a few dozen.
There's a lot of people like them. That's the problem. There's a lot of people like them.
A lot.
Not just the yes. What do you mean? There are a lot of people like them.
A lot, but I mean what? Like millions or
I didn't take a head count. I'm sorry. I'm just going to use the word a lot.
Well, they're not. If you're trying to make the argument that they're in any way representative of the majority of Christians, you're not making that case, are you? Like, is that the case you're trying to make?
I'm confused on where you're confused.
What do you mean? Like
you live in this? You live in the same place I do. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You're very headstrong on it. You got this idea that the Bible has produced good people, And no matter what I throw out, no. You don't have the head count on that. You don't know how many people. It's weird. It's very weird. Why are you defending this so much? What's in it for you? Like, what is good in the Bible? What's the good part? What is so good worth defending?
So are we totally getting off of like the Christian nationalism thing now?
Yeah, because it's annoying me. Go ahead. What is the good part in this Bible?
What is the good part? Like
yes. What's the good part?
There are obviously lots of good parts. You can start with
lots. You're just throwing out lots again.
You can start with the 10 Commandments for starters. Like
10 Commandments, worship God. Great. Why is that good?
Okay. Well, okay. Again, let's just start with the baseline assumption that God exists. So if God, yeah,
let's start with why is it good to worship God? I don't care. Obviously, he exists at that point if you're worshiping him. Why is it good to worship him?
Well, no, you can worship things that don't exist.
For shit's sake, Dallas, why is it good to worship God?
Why is it? Well, if God is the arbiter of morality, and he knows what is good for us and what is bad for us,
so it's good to worship him because of that. Why is it good to worship him?
What do you mean by worship? Like, because
why is it good to have no other gods before him, Dallas? Why is it good to have no other gods before him?
Because the assumption is okay. If God is if God is the only God that exists, which is the at least the belief, right? Like, so then that would mean that all the other gods that people worship were false gods. So and then false gods would be based on a lie, right?
So what?
So why
does he care?
Isn't the path to truth generally a better path than a path to lies?
But why does he care? Why does he care if anybody has any other gods before him? Why does he give a shit?
Why you'd have to ask him that?
It's a silly rule, Dallas. It's a silly rule.
Well, I just told you
no other gods before me.
Well, I just told you why the concept makes sense.
Why a human being would think that. This is an all-powerful God. Why does he give a shit? But one person does. Why? Doesn't make any sense to me, Dallas.
Well, that's fine.
Does it make sense to you?
If God exists and he doesn't want you to believe in he would therefore be the truth, and then believing in other gods would be believing in lies, then it totally makes sense to want people to believe in what is true than to people to believe in what is a lie. Now, I know you don't believe in any of it, which is your prerogative. That's fine. I'm just
saying it doesn't make any sense, Dallas. That explanation still doesn't make any sense to me, but that's okay. Number 2, thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain. Why does he care, Dallas? Why does he care?
Do you understand what that verse means? At least based upon.
Explain it to me, Dallas. Why just tell me, Dallas?
Okay. Like my understanding and again, all this would be just my understanding, but my understanding
100% what I'm looking for. Yeah.
My understanding, based upon some of the scholarly material that I've read, that verse often gets misinterpreted, misunderstood. Like most people, or at least traditionally in this country, a lot of people think it means like don't say the word God with like a bad attitude.
Right, but what do you think it means, Dallas? Like, what's it mean?
So what it means is do not carry God's name in vain, which means to not do evil things in the name of God. So it's one thing if I go and do something.
That's quite a leep, Dallas. That's quite a leap. That's quite
a leap.
Okay, no, that 100%. I'm going to go with it's a leap. That's quite a leap, but that's okay. You're entitled to your opinion. I think it's interesting. Number 3. Thank you for that explanation. I appreciate that. Thou shalt keep the Sabbath day. Again, why does he care?
Why are you asking me that?
These are great law. You said this is a perfect set of rules, or a good set of rules, at least.
I didn't say it's perfect. Like
a good set, right? This is a good set. We're going off number 1, 2, and 3 here, and they don't make any fucking sense to me.
Yeah,
number
3, it's a good start. Well,
this is terrible. That's a terrible start, Dallas. This is terrible. The first 3 are like all about him. What an egocentrical maniac! Holy shit! Number 3, thou shalt, what is it? Keep the Sabbath. I was going to say observe. Keep the Sabbath day. Why do you think he cares, Dallas? Why do you think he cares so much?
Why does he care about people leaning into what is good and truthful versus what isn't?
Keep the Sabbath, Dallas. Focus. We're on keep the Sabbath. Why does he care? Why does he care about his holy day?
Do you not think it's good to take a day of reflection off from the craziness of the world and everything else, like it just to take a day of reflection? Like,
so you're saying that we should all take Sunday off, or Saturday, whatever you believe your Sabbath is, and those who work on Sunday are not listening to God? They're breaking the rules? Well, I work on Sunday.
Well, that doesn't answer my question, though. My question is whether or not you think that the concept of taking a day off of reflection is a good thing or not.
Yeah, I don't need God to tell me that, though. That's obvious.
Okay,
thanks.
then
thanks, Captain Obvious.
Okay, well then it at least makes some sense. You can't make the argument.
No, it would have made more sense when he says, if it was thou shalt take a break. No, this is thou shalt keep the Sabbath day holy. It's all about him. Why does he care so much? Why is it always about him? So weird, Dallas.
Why are you assuming it's just about him? Like,
is that his day? Is that his holy day?
What is holy? What is your
Dallas,
understanding
is that his day? Is that his special day? Sorry, we can go with special. We'll use the word special. I like the word special. Is that his special day? Is that God's special day?
I don't get the idea that it's just about God. Like, I mean, yeah,
you're telling me the Sabbath isn't about God?
It's all about God in some
Great.
sense.
So why? But why then, Dallas?
Why then what?
Why does he want us to keep it holy? Why does he care, Dallas? All these questions I keep asking you. Why? Why do you think that?
Why do you think holy is better than unholy? That's the essence.
That's not even remotely the question I'm asking you, Dallas. I've asked the same question like 6 times now.
Why? I'm trying to help you understand this from
why
a more
is it special?
Perspective.
Why does he care about his special day, Dallas?
Why is it? You're framing it in this weird way, like
I don't know how else to frame it.
It's I'm giving you another way of looking at it and understanding it. I'm telling you, like it's good to take a holy
right,
day.
That's not what it says. It says
and reflect.
Keep the Sabbath day holy. That's not what it says. It doesn't say sit down and reflect. It says keep the Sabbath day holy. Whose Sabbath day is it? Whose day is that?
Holy. The idea of holy just means
Dallas. Whose day is it? Whose day is it, Dallas?
What do you mean?
Whose day is the Sabbath day? Whose day is the Sabbath day, Dallas?
It's
why are
all
we dancing
of our
around this? Holy shit! Why are you dancing around these things so much?
I'm not
Put
dancing.
Shoes on. You're at tap dancing.
You're at
Dallas. Oh man.
I'm confused why you think taking a day to be holy, which just means to reflect on good. Holy just means that which
I don't care. I don't care.
That's
not what I'm talking about, Dallas.
Holy just means that which is good, and you're
care. I'm talking about the day, the Sabbath day. Whose day is the Sabbath? Fuck the word holy. Don't even think about that right now. Don't even think about it. Think about the Sabbath. Whose day is it?
I know you want me to say it's God's day,
right? Because obviously it's God's day. But have you read the Bible?
It's not. See that this is where I reject the framing that it's just like God's day, because like it's our day. It's our day.
My weekend.
It's our day to it's our day to reflect on that which is holy, which basically just means that which is all that which is righteous and good, like
super special.
I don't understand why you push back so hard against having a day to reflect on that which is good, like that if you want to talk what seems like odd to
because I read the Bible. I know what the Sabbath day is. Dallas.
There are
That's
things
why.
that seem
Because I know what the
odd
Sabbath
to,
day is,
there are
Dallas.
things that seem odd to
You're making up your own. You're making up your own shit for it now. At this point, you're making up your own meaning for it.
No, I'm not.
It's okay. It's okay. Christians do it all the time. Even though I know you're not a Christian, you label yourself that. I know, but theist, whatever you want to call it. Okay, last question before we head off into our own realms here. I do want to know how do you decipher between what is real and what is not real in the Bible?
I don't.
You don't.
No, I don't. I've said this before, like, and again, like, I know you want to get way off from what I would kind of like to talk about in this conversation, but that's fine. It's your show. Like, I'm not that interested in trying to decipher what is literally true and what isn't true. I judge the Bible by the fruit it has produced, primarily.
Dallas, you don't believe the flood happened. Why don't you believe that happened?
I don't care. Like, I don't know if it happened or not. Like,
so you don't care. So you don't care if any of this stuff happened in the Bible. You just think that good people come out of it, and that's why you believe it.
Well, no, I personally do believe in the idea of a God, and I would.
Yeah, we established that.
Yeah. Okay. But and the primary reason why I lean into the Bible more than anything else, is, like I said, is because
so everything I just said is true. Okay.
Wait, what? Well, what is everything you just said?
I forgot now. But Dallas, this has been a blast. I have enjoyed our conversation, part 2 here for sure. Thank you for coming on. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your patience and your answers. Yes, go ahead and plug your stuff. Where can we find you at, man?
Just, I'm not promoting too much of anything right now.
No worries.
But you can find me. I'm out there.
Facebook, Twitter. You got TikTok going on? Do a little.
I've avoided TikTok so I've avoided TikTok so far, but I am on some of the other stuff.
All right, man. Thank you so much. Take care. I'll let you know when this comes out, man.
Okay.
Bye. Yeah, that's it, man. Appreciate part 2. Thank you so much. If you ever do a show, let me know. I'll come on. I'll promote. I'll do whatever you gotta do.
Cool.
I like doing swapping back and forth. Those are always fun.
Yeah.
I enjoy being in the passenger seat every once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be just, off camera or mic, while we're not trying to I don't know, lean into whatever it is that we're trying to push, and just chat freely about anything.
Yeah.
I'd be interested too, like, because I know your show isn't like really like a politics show or whatever, but I'd be interested to have some type of conversation surrounding that sometime too.
Yeah, for sure.
Just be interesting. Because I don't know, based on a few things you said, it seems like you at least lean a little more in the opposite direction of me, but I don't
probably. I try and avoid politics as much as possible on the show, 100%.
Yeah, because
I don't like it. It's not my favorite thing in the world. I try and stay out of it. But yeah, as far as the God thing goes, I don't find it a rational argument. I haven't heard a good argument for it. If you got 15 minutes, I can go grab a drink. We can discuss that topic if you want it. We can do like a bonus feature.
Sure.
No shit. All right, I'll be back. Hold on. Pause. Oh, not there. Where am I? Ta-da! The fun has arrived. What's up, man? All right. So, God, why? Where is this concept? Grill me on God. Do something. Okay. Yeah. Let's go back to that. Let's do that. I'll sit in the chair. Go ahead.
Okay. Like, here's kind of might be somewhat interesting direction to take this. So often in these types of conversations, I've noticed that like it's almost entirely the atheist kind of really kind of like grilling the theist or whatever form of theist you might be, in terms of like, oh well, you believe that like God, like, you know, like is the reason why, like, you know, all this like amazement around us, like, you know, it exists, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and which is fine. But I've noticed that like very seldom do theists really kind of, you know, more turn it
the
around,
tables,
yeah, and go okay, like because here's I'll give you
Do it.
my full perspective on this, and I'll try to be as just kind of like blunt and honest as possible.
I enjoy
that. So I do think the theistic, okay, atheists have a certain advantage in some of these conversations because oftentimes they really lean into the kind of agnostic atheism arena, and it's often and this drives me crazy sometimes too. It's often the more religious people. There's a large bulk of them, at least, that are very certain about, like, you know, what they like they think they know. It's like, it's not just like I believe God exists. It's like, oh, I know God exists. I know
I have a personal relationship with him. I talk to him.
Yeah.
I talk to those people all the time. Yeah.
I know where I'm going after I die, like that sort of thing. So obviously,
so would that make you agnostic?
Yes, mostly. But just to kind of finish my thought, yeah, no problem. Yeah, so it's very easy. It's very easy for the atheist to take the grilling position on that, and to, you know, to sit in the driver's seat, and then for the theist is just to sit back and, you know, take all these really difficult questions that most of them aren't going to have good answers to. But I do think we should turn. That's all fine and well, but I think turning it around is interesting too, and I think it's good and healthy for, you know, thought and discussion. Like, so, like, so like I would ask, like, you know, someone like yourself, again, let's remove the element of knowing, because I don't claim, I do lean towards believing God exists, yeah, but I'm fully expressive about and upfront about, like, that is the beliefs section. I'm not claiming that as a sense of knowledge, and what atheists tend to do is they tend to totally cop out on the belief. Like, they just claim, like, oh, I don't have a belief in, you know, anything, like, you know, I just don't know, I just don't know that God exists, and that's all that I can say. And so what I would do, again, just try and go with me for a second.
I'm going.
Okay. So obviously you would say you don't know that God exists. Like, you would probably call yourself like an agnostic atheist, right?
100%. Like, yep. I don't know, but I don't see any evidence that would be convincing me that there would be one.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's kind of that's usually kind of the primary.
It's the zero stance.
Yeah,
it's where I'm at zero. I have zero gods, zero beliefs in anything magical or you know, supernatural.
Sure.
So that's where I stand.
But then,
zero.
Yeah, but then my question would be, okay, so the theist, someone like myself, at least has some thoughts on what they and is willing and able to express what they believe, putting aside what they know.
You've picked something.
And most, well, I mean, everyone.
There's a million different possibilities, Dallas.
Well,
we can go from a unicorn that's magical and farts universes out. I mean, shit, dude. It could be an advanced robot race out there that died off and made life. I mean, there's all kinds of possibilities to pick one, and that's what you've done. You've picked one. I'm at zero. You're at one.
everyone picks something that they in some way lean towards in terms of what they believe, right? So I would just ask you, I just again, just out of pure curiosity, like this isn't, I'm not trying to do a gotcha or anything.
Like, I love it. Try the gotchas, Dallas.
Yeah.
Give me the gotchas. See how I handle it. Do it.
I don't like gotchas most of the time. Like they're cheap.
That's okay. Christians don't have any gotcha questions anyways. It's okay.
Well, that's I could probably maybe find a few for you.
Do it, Dallas. Let's test it out. I love it.
But
sorry, go ahead.
I would just, but yeah. So I'm just want to ask you, like, what do you believe, like, in terms of like how all this got here, and like what from going as far back as you're willing to kind of allow your brain to think, like
here's my theory, Dallas. You ready?
Yeah.
My theory is that when things get sucked into a black hole, they come out in another universe, and those parts make other universes. I don't know. It's just my idea. Or that I like the what was it? Men in Black, where our galaxy's inside of a marble.
The marble.
Yeah. I love that. That's such a clever idea. Or the collar. I have no idea, Dallas. I love that's science fiction to me. That's what that is. We can assume all we want, but neither of us are experts. So we would have to appeal to the actual experts, people who are doing the science, the people on the ground level, getting their shit dirty.
Well, I mean, there's a certain level of expertise or knowledge when it comes to that, but like there's a certain point where everyone's just kind of really guessing and pontificating, even
it's all a guess because we don't know. That's exactly what it is. And science is an educated guess, right? That's what we use. We use science to make educated guesses because there's a lot of things we don't know for sure. So we make educated guesses. It's like Spock, can you give me how's this going to work? Well, I don't know. Educated guess.
Sure. Sorry. But there's a certain point where, where it all becomes illogical. If whether you're a theist or an atheist, if you're willing to really stretch your brain in terms of like what was the first thing that existed, and how did it become
no
a
idea.
Thing? Like
no idea. But see, that's the problem with a god too. That's the same problem. Like, what created the god? You're telling me that the creator had no creator, but everything else needs a creator? Well, that's lunacy. That doesn't work either. So I don't know. Well, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
I agree that if we both kind of stretch our brains, eventually an honest person on either side just kind of has to go like, eventually a logic runs out, no matter whether you're theist or atheist or whatever.
There's only so many whys you can ask before you get to I don't know.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, can we? Yeah. So I mean, I think we kind of agree on that. Like the only one thing I would say in terms of like at least like the theistic belief. Well, I'll tell you where I think the atheist has kind of a logical advantage, and where the theist has kind of a logical advantage. I think the atheist has a logical advantage in these types of discussions, where they'll say things like, well, we know that that physical particles exist, so maybe there's some physical particle that just like always existed, and then you can take from wherever you want to go from there. It's like okay, like yes, we know particles exist, but we don't know that like a god or any kind of gods exist. I totally concede that ground. But like conceptually, when you think about it kind of in a more conceptual sense, at least the idea of God, what people like myself believe in the concept of just spiritual, non-physical.
See, that's all weird. As soon as you start saying spiritual, that's invisible people. You're talking about ghosts and invisible people. Where is your evidence that ghosts and invisible people are reality?
Right. I'm not claiming to have any kind of like sort of evidence at all. I'm just talking conceptually.
Right. So I don't have evidence for alien beings creating the universe. I don't have evidence for super intelligent robots creating the universe. But we can't just pick one, Dallas.
Sure, but
we don't know. You don't know either. You've told me so many times that you don't know, and I don't know. We know that's awesome. So why pick one? But why pick one?
But just follow me the rest of this way here. Like, yeah. So at least like conceptually and logically, the idea behind a spiritual realm or existence or a god or whatever is that one thing that we, as far as we can study and tell, everything that in the physical universe that we can see, touch, study is finite, and so that creates its own logical problem of kind of, I guess, what you might call infinite regression, like if everything in the material world is finite, then when does it just go?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like logically, it can't go back and back forever, right? Like, so I mean, and this is where everyone's heads begin to explode, whether we're thinking about the physical universe or the concept of God, because at least logically, the belief is that God, because he exists outside of the material universe, he is not subject to those observable laws.
That's so weird, Dallas. Now you're in. That's such a weird thing to do, is insert this being that's outside of the physical universe. That's so weird to do.
Is it really that much more? You really think it's that much more like weird or illogical than just like like some material particle just kind of came out of where we don't even know where. Like,
right. So why would we make up a god or a being that lives outside of the material world? It doesn't make any sense. Why would we just make that up and say, yeah, that's the one?
Do you understand my point though? It's like that like
I understand, but what I don't get is why you're still picking this one over the infinite possibilities. There's no evidence towards this being that's outside of the physical realm, but you're choosing to believe that there's a being outside the physical realm. This is the one you've chosen out of the millions and millions of options of why or how we got here. You've chosen a being that lives outside the physical realm did it. That's weird, Dallas.
Well, it's also weird, and I'm not saying, and I'm not saying the whole idea of God isn't like weird in some sense. Like it's totally weird. Is it? But it's also totally weird. And again, like hopefully, I think, and I'm gonna like be a little bit like suggestive here, and what your answer should be like here. But like I think any honest atheist has to admit that it's like it's also really weird that like if all that exists is just this material that we can observe, like that there's nothing beyond that, like in any kind of like spiritual realm or whatever. It's just the shit we can see and touch and in this physical world. Right. Yeah. It's also super weird that like this physical stuff, like like the law, like some shit just banged together that we don't know where it came from, and that created like the laws of physics, and even the idea of evolution. Like evolution is like it's like a system, right? Like
process, for sure.
Yeah, but like I mean, even if you take God out of it completely, the idea of God out of it completely, and I think theists are wrong to think that evolution and theism are dichotomies with the other, because they're not. But like the system of evolution is like totally like mind-blowingly weird. Like it's like like I mean, stuff keeps getting more complex and interesting over time. And if you go with the atheist view that has no direction, like nobody.
Right. That's what we see in the fossil record is there's no direction. If we had a perfect God directing it, we wouldn't have as many different branches. We would have just this is what it is. This is what it is. Like the Garden of Eden. Oh, we made tigers. There you go. They got tigers.
Well, I don't understand. I don't understand why. In my mind, this is a total leap. That anything in evolution necessitates the belief that there's no there's no what's the word I'm looking for?
Intelligent.
Yeah, sure, we'll go with that. Like,
right? Yeah, there's no intelligent design in it. It's all just a process of what works best for them at the time. That's how evolution, from what I understand.
But evolution is it's a system, right? Like it's like okay, try and follow me here, and I'm gonna try and make sense. I'm no expert on like
same
stuff,
yeah, no.
but it's its own kind of like closed system in a certain sense, like that. Like okay, so for example, when you, and this may or may not be a good example, but when you cut your arm, and it heals itself like back together, like there's who's this, why did that have to be the case, or like
self-preservation? I don't know. It helps us survival.
But why does a world with no direction or intelligence, like, kind of directed toward
why does an organism want to survive?
Well, I mean, I guess that's one way to frame it. But okay, imagine
you're telling us. Go ahead. Well, let me just get this straight. So you're saying the reason we want to survive is because of God?
No.
Okay, the reason we heal is because of God?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
What's it got to do with God?
I'm asking a question, and I'm trying to understand, like.
I don't know. That's the answer for me. Yeah, I don't know why.
But it's weird, right? Like, and it's
not really.
It's like,
again, when I went to the survival thing, it's really not that weird that an organism wants to survive. I don't think that's weird. So your body wants to survive. Your body wants to survive, so it's going to heal itself. It's a survival thing. But so to me, yes, that makes sense.
But I feel like you're not understanding what I'm asking.
I'm probably not. It's okay though.
Okay. Think about it this way. Like, imagine there are two physical universes that exist. Like,
okay.
One where your body heals itself, and the process of evolution has worked the way it essentially has in this one, right? Like,
and one that doesn't.
Yeah, and one where it's like that it doesn't work that way at all.
Okay, what about it?
My question is, why do you think that that the physical world necessitates what we experience in it, like with like, the process of evolution, like do you understand? Like,
no clue, but that's okay. We can move on to another. Sorry. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same answer. I feel like it's the same answer. Like, I feel that one universe, I guess they wouldn't survive because their cuts don't heal, so they wouldn't survive as often or as long. So that we survive longer because our cuts heal. We can actually heal ourselves. I'm not an evolutionary expert whatsoever, but that makes sense to me. So, I mean, I'm sure there's somebody yelling at us at this point right now. Oh my God, they got it so wrong.
but I guess my point with that, maybe this makes a little bit more sense. Like, it's definitely interesting and weird that, like, that these processes, whether we're talking about evolution in kind of the long sense, or even just the little things like that, or the fact that when you run, like, the bottoms of your feet like get tough, so so your body is better equipped to
are you asking why the body improves itself or wants to improve itself?
No, I'm saying it's very interesting and very, very weird that those things would come out of just chaos and non-order. That's maybe the best way to put it.
Yeah, well, I don't know how that happened, but that is the way that things are, and it's self-preservation. It's helping people and animals and other beings to survive. That's what it's doing. That's what our natural.
And I'm saying there's nothing about the idea of evolution that negates the idea that, like, there was some
an original spark is what you're saying. God is the original spark that started all of that intelligence, started all of that on the process, the evolutionary process.
Yeah,
is what you're going at.
Yeah, well, like I said, yeah, evolution.
I'm telling you, it was super intelligent androids.
Do what?
It was super intelligent androids that started the spark.
Is that what you really believe, though?
That's what I'm picking. That's my one right now. I'm picking my one.
Okay.
How am I picking this one any different from how you're picking yours?
Well, where did are these androids? Are they material or?
They're real material, and they're made of a material that lasts forever. These beings created them eons ago, billions and billions and billions of years ago, and they've just been sitting around and they were bored, so they created life. And that's where we all come from. They started that original spark.
Okay, you don't actually believe that, though.
Of course not. Of course not. But can you prove that wrong? Like, how is that any different from what you're doing? You're picking one. You're just picking one. You have no proof that God is the one that started that spark. God is the one that set the evolutionary process into motion. You have no idea.
I'm at least in some sense saying that I actually believe.
That's disingenuous, Dallas. You're just picking shit up out of your ass at that point. I don't know why. This is it. This one.
It's not disingenuous to say I genuinely believe in X, Y, or Z. Like, that's not disingenuous. You may not also believe in it, but I'll be damned if I'll let you say that it's disingenuous for someone to believe in God or whatever. That's not disingenuous. I'm not going to any more than I think you're disingenuous for saying like you just don't. You believe. I mean, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. In my opinion, like atheists, they don't, and hopefully I'm being somewhat fair. They don't like to think too deeply about like the where did it all come from stuff.
I do, but it's just all fantasy at that point. That's all fantasy. We're just playing around with words and stories because we don't know, Dallas, and we can't know. So you're just guessing. That's what it is, Dallas, is a guess. And I'm not going to guess. I'm going to stay at zero. I'm not going to guess how that spark happened. I'm not going to guess how the evolutionary process. I'm going to leave that to smarter people to figure all that shit out. Scientists.
Would you say that you at least, all right, let me see if you'll at least answer this question. Okay. Would you say you're a materialist in the sense that if you had to pick, like if someone held a gun to your head and said, do you believe that all that exists is the material
physical
world
realm.
Of
yes.
the physical realm.
The physical world is all that's real. If you believe anything else, show me and I'll believe it. Do you believe there's a spiritual world? Show me the spiritual world. Otherwise, it's just nonsense.
Well, it's not nonsense in the sense that like that.
How is it not?
How is it not nonsense?
How is it not nonsense? How is the spiritual world not nonsense?
It's non-empirical. Is not necessarily nonsensical.
So believing in invisible people that are out of the realm of reality is not nonsensical?
Well, okay, hold check your bias there. You said beings. Not within the realm of, if they exist, they are within the realm of reality.
Okay, so so the spiritual world is reality?
If it exists, then yes.
Okay, so God exists in reality then?
Yes.
So God exists in reality. He's a physical being. We can actually see him, hear him, touch him, taste him.
No, you're misunderstanding the concept.
So he's not real.
No, you're understanding what I'm saying. So okay, let me ask it this way: like, can something be real that we don't know exists and can't prove exists at this moment in time?
Right, we wouldn't say it's real at that point. So we wouldn't say it's real.
But do you understand what I'm saying? That it either is real or it isn't real. Like,
all right,
some people,
it isn't.
Right. Okay. So maybe some people believe it's real. Some people don't believe it's real.
But we don't have any evidence for its reality. So why would you believe it's real if you don't have any evidence for its reality? It can't interact in the real world. Why would you believe it's real?
I believe it's real. And again, this is just my belief, and it's not satisfying to a lot of people. Because the alternative, in my mind, that just all the physical shit just created itself. All the systems created itself. I mean, even just the idea that planets exist. The laws of physics, planets.
So we don't know, right?
predictable.
So I don't know. I'm not going to pick one, Dallas. I'm going to stay at 0. I'm still staying at 0 because it doesn't make any sense to pick one without evidence of it.
But I at least I have a belief. I've kind of talked about that a little bit here.
Great.
And I also am willing to tell you what I know and don't know. And a lot of it I don't know. What atheists tend to do.
You don't know any of it, Dallas. You don't know any of it. But you're picking one. You're still picking one. You don't know if God's real. You don't know if he created it. You don't know what created anything. You don't know even if something created it. You don't know, but you're just going to pick one anyways.
Yes, I'm at least willing to think, and I'm not saying
I'm thinking outside the box, Dallas. I got all kinds of crazy fantasies and ideas of how the universe came to be. I got a shit ton, Dallas. I'm not going to pick one though, because there's no evidence for any of it. No evidence for your God, no evidence for the Hindu God, no evidence for all the Aztec gods, no evidence for the Greek gods, none of them. There's no evidence for any of these guys.
So then you would, and again, I'm not trying to trap you. So then you basically you basically believe that that the physical realm just somehow
Dallas, I don't know,
created itself.
Again, I don't know, Dallas.
This is where,
yes.
Okay.
I have no idea, Dallas. I'm not going to just assume or pick something. We're still at 0. I like 0 because I don't know.
This is where atheists totally cop out on
How is that a cop out? I'm not going to pick something.
You're copping out on the question of belief. We both have established that I don't know. And you don't know. Okay,
right.
I've told you. So I've told you what I believe about kind of how all this got here, at least in some sense. Mm-hmm. Right. But I haven't heard a genuine response from you, or genuinely thoughtful response. You've given me some I
have no idea, Dallas.
I know
I'm giving you my response. I have no fucking clue how the universe got here. I have no fucking clue how physics started. I have no clue. It's not a cop out. It's a misunderstanding. I don't understand.
Yes, it absolutely is a cop out on the question I'm asking, which is the question of what do you believe, about how it all got here? Because we're already
a belief on how we got here, Dallas. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Right. And I'm telling you, you're copping out on the question, and it's not a trap.
I'm not going to pick a belief. God damn it!
I'm just getting you to understand. I'm just getting you to understand that that's what you're doing.
Dallas, I'm not going to pick a belief on an assumption or any of that. I'm not. So I'm going to hold out. I'm going to hold out at 0 until I have a good reason to believe something, Dallas. I don't have a good reason to believe that there's a spiritual world or that any. Go ahead.
But even that response is somewhat dishonest, in my opinion, because by default you do believe in just kind of the material. You don't believe in any of the other things from what
invisible
I can tell.
People. No, I don't.
Right, you just believe in the material. So you believe, right? So you believe that you either believe one of two things by default. You either believe that that there's some eternal physical particle or piece of matter or whatever that has always existed, which I guess that would solve the infinite regression problem. So
I don't believe that one. So what's the other one?
Okay, and if you don't believe that, then you believe there was some point in time where material never existed and just popped into existence.
I don't believe that either.
Well, those are the only two logical possibilities of a materialist view. What's the other? Tell me. No, androids don't solve the problem.
Why not?
Because you said androids are a physical entity.
Spiritual androids.
Spiritual androids?
Yeah, they're invisible.
that at least solves the problem. But you're being condescending because you don't actually believe that. You're
of
just giving me
course not.
condescending.
God damn it! I told you I don't believe in invisible people or magical beings. I've seen no evidence for it.
Right.
Zero.
So you believe. Right. I'm just trying to get you to understand the basis.
You're trying to pin me to a belief, Dallas. I'm sorry. I don't believe any of that. I have no idea how we got here, how everything started. That's not a cop-out. That's me not knowing how it happened. I'm not going to pick one. I'm done. I'm not picking one. We're done. Dallas, this has been fun. I appreciate your time, man. I'll put maybe this on some bonus stuff. We'll see. But thank you. You're a lot of fun, dude. I appreciate it. Take care.
All right, you too.
And that's all the show there is for you today. Thanks for listening. If you like what you heard and want to help keep the recording light on, simply go to patreon.com/BSW the podcast and sign up to be a supporter of the show. Your episodic tithes of $1 or more will give you access to the patron feed, unaired conversations, early access to each episode, and much more. For the latest events, BSW swag, and a peek behind the scenes, head on over to the show's ever-evolving webpage at thebiblesayswhat.com. The Bible Says What the book is out. Head on over to thebiblesayswhat.com and get yourself and your grandma a signed copy. Thanks to the cosmic powers of the internet, it is now possible to buy me a beer or coffee online. Simply go to buymeacoffee.com/BSW the podcast and click the appropriate buttons. If you can't support the show monetarily, please like, share, and or leave a review. As always, you can find me at the Bible Says What Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Instagram pages. You can also reach me at bswthepodcast@gmail.com. And no matter which platform you use to listen to your podcasts, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss out on the next episode. Until then, would you kindly pick up your Bibles and read them? I'm thankful for you.